Philippines is becoming a country of resistance against Chinese aggression in South China Sea region. Recently, the Philippines Navy acquired the Brahmos anti-ship cruise missile from India. They acquired it because it is the only supersonic anti-ship cruise missile with speed Mach 2.8. They will going to get the 3 batteries of the Brahmos. Along with this, Indian Navy personnel will going to provide the training the Filipino Navy personnel for the Brahmos maintenance. The total deal cost is $375 million. Among this value, 51% belongs to India and 49% belongs to Russia because the Brahmos was developed by India and Russia jointly. The Brahmos is also named after 2 important rivers of respective countries, the India's Brahmaputra and Russia's Moskva. Now, after the Philippines Navy, the Philippines Army is also converging to acquire Brahmos. The long pending deal of acquiring the Brahmos for Philippines Army is on move now. Now the India could see the progress in near future about this deal. Now, one ironic thing is that India has signed its biggest defense export contract without a full-fledged defense attaché in the Indian embassy in Manila. The proposal for increasing the number of defense attaches at several Indian missions abroad, including the Philippines, has been pending for the times. There are so many countries, those who are asking India to open the defense attaches in the respective embassies of those countries. Argentina is asking, Indonesia is asking, Vietnam is asking, and the other countries, those who are interested to acquire the Indian weapon systems from Indian defense industry. They are showing their interest. Philippines is also showing their interest because they have already acquired the Brahmos Supersonic Cruise Missile from India. India is operating to the ASEAN countries through the defense attaché of the Singapore right now. The India have to took into this matter because the India is aspiring to be a defense exporter of the world. India is the one of the biggest defense importer of the world. Now India is aspiring to be a defense exporter of the world. To make India the defense exporter nations, India have to open the defense attaches in different countries in the ASEAN region, in the African region, in the South American region. Then and only then India will going to deal with those countries very efficiently. As the Philippines marine deal is done, next will be the Philippines Army. The next target of the Indian defense industry to sell the weapons, sell the Brahmos weapon systems to the Philippines Army. The acquisitions of the Philippines Army is programmed in Horizon 3. The Horizon 3 is Philippines Army modernization program that started in 2012 and continued through 2027 under the Philippines Republic Act 10349. The total cost of 15 years program is projected to be over 40 billion. The focus of the Horizon 3 was to strengthen the Filipino Army's modernization, strengthen the Army's capability to address the external threats, particularly to protect its territorial waters and advance its maritime domain awareness. The Philippines' southern provinces continued to facing the terrorism threats, especially in the some parts of the Mindanao region. That was also the reasons behind these Horizon 3 modernizations. Army is also focusing on counter-terrorism effort. The Philippines is also procuring the advanced equipment under Horizon 3 program. Because of these reasons, the Philippines is also venturing the other options to acquire the other state-of-art weapons for Philippines Army's forces. India should encash this opportunity to sell the weapons to the Philippines. Then after, India have to go for the other ASEAN nations. The Horizon 3 is a big opportunity for the Indian defense manufacturers. Under the Horizon, Philippines is planning to upgrade its armed forces at massive level. That is why they are planning to acquire some defense equipments like multi-role fighter aircraft, trainer aircraft, amphibious aircraft, intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance systems, helicopters for the combat utilities, attack, search and rescue, unmanned aerial system, land vehicles and the various other things. The things I mentioned, they are all present with the Indian defense industry. In case of training aircraft, India have training aircraft. The LCA Tejas is one of the best training aircraft of the world. The multi-role fighter aircraft, India also have LCA Tejas 1K, which can be used as a training aircraft and the multi-role fighter aircraft. So Philippines should encash these options. India has amphibious aircraft, various amphibious aircraft. India has excellent intelligence, surveillance and the reconnaissance systems. Helicopters, India have Dhruv Mk3 helicopter. That is also the Philippines is looking for. The unmanned aerial system, India is trying to develop the unmanned aerial systems in a bigger way, but in the smaller way, India do have the unmanned aerial system. And the land vehicles are plenty with the Indian defense forces and the Indian defense industry. That is why India should encash this opportunity and should offer all these equipments to the Philippines armed forces. Recently, the Hindustan Aeronautical Limited has received the interest from the Philippines Coast Guard for procurement of the 7 Dhruv advanced light helicopters and the Dornier 228 aircraft under the 100 million line of credit extended by India. Further discussion has been delayed due to the pandemic, due to the COVID-19 situations for impacting the travel. Instead of traveling the army officials to the respective countries, how the deal will going to concluded. To conclude the deal, the armed forces personnel have to travel each other's country. Because of the pandemic, it was hard. The Indian shipyards had in past competed to supply the small frigates to the Philippines Navy. Though the Indian shipyards lost this project to the South Korea in the end. South Korea actually was able to sell those frigates, small frigates to the Philippines Navy. However, there are more emerging opportunities from the Philippines in the maritime domain as well. In 2017, during the visit of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the Philippines, the two countries had signed a memorandum of understanding on defense industry and logistic cooperation, which provides a framework for enhancing and strengthening the cooperation in logistics support and services and in the development, productions and the procurement of the defense material. So India is ready to sell any kind of weapon to protect the Philippines from the Chinese aggressions in this region. The Philippines and the other ASEAN countries have to show the deterrence against the Chinese aggression, because China is claiming whole South China Sea, which is illegal. Because according to the United Nations Convention on the Law of Sea establishes that the territorial waters of the country can be extended up to 12 nautical mile, equivalent to the 22.227 kilometers from the low tide mark of the sea. But how could China claim the whole South China Sea? According to this rule, this is very, very illegal act by the China. Philippines also draw the Chinese officials to the World Court, to the Hague, but China's denied to accept those court rules, as the China's claiming whole South China Sea. So according to the China's principle, all the resources present over there in the sea belongs to the China only. That is very, very, very illegal, because the China cannot claim the international water resources which belongs to the world, which belongs to the anyone who will going to find those resources. China is also invading the airspace of the various countries in that region, especially the Taiwan. Recently, they invaded the Malaysian airspace. Malaysia is also looking for LCA Tejas 1A. India is eager to establish the LCA Tejas aircrafts, the compositions, LCA Tejas aircraft manufacturing plants over there in the Malaysia. So the countries in that region, especially the Thailand, Indonesia and the Vietnam, are also looking to seal the Brahmos deal. India is in advanced stage of discussions with these countries. The India have to play this diplomatic card very sharply, like the China uses the Pakistan to counter the India. China is selling the different kind of weapon to the Pakistan. Recently they sold the howitzer. Recently they sold the frigates, one of the largest frigates in the Pakistan's navy. So as the China is using the Pakistan to counter the India's influence in the Indian Ocean region, India should influence those countries, those who are in the South China region, to acquire the Indian state of art equipment, that the China cannot deter against those weapons. So now the question part. The first question is Neokov, which was seen in the news, was first identified in which species? First option is monkeys, second option is bats, third option is owl, the fourth option is rodent. The Neokov is the new coronavirus variant. I have already discussed about this topic. If you are interested, then please go and have a look over that topic too. The second question is, which country has agreed to cooperate with European Union on energy security? The first option is USA, the second option is Australia, third option is India, fourth is Japan. So that is it. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention.